All right, we're live, everyone. How are you today?
What's up,
And
everybody? What a day.
what a day!
What a
Thea,
So,
day.
high five, pal. Great job.
where
What, do
is
you want
it?
to really
I,
high
I was just
five?
checking. I was just checking that we're actually live, but we're
Of
doing.
course we
Where
are.
is it?
We are live.
Brilliant. Okay, so it's also going out on Facebook into all kinds of different places, which is awesome. And all right, so hello everyone. We're gonna the first day of the Web Agency Summit is over, and it was a hell of a day. And it's midnight right now, at least where we are, where Andrew and I are. So we're just gonna do a quick recap to talk about what we did, what happened today. Tell you a little bit about the sessions that some of the incredible sessions that came through um, the the summit platform today, and
Mhm.
prepare for tomorrow. So
We have one award to give out, and that is the award for the most stressful talk given today.
okay, but we're gonna
Yeah,
keep that a secret.
it's a
Right?
secret.
Just to open this loop. I learned this. I learned from Adrian today at the networking lounge that you need to open these loops when you do those videos, so that people would want to watch further.
Tease it.
Yeah.
Tease it out. You know what would be awesome is if Adrian was here. Be so fun.
What?
Hold
Ask
on.
and
There
thou
he
shalt
is.
Yeah.
receive.
What?
So,
Oh my
Adrian,
god.
you
I wasted a
were
wish on that. No offense, Adrian.
so we have quite a few surprises for all of you guys that are joining us at this late hour today. And Adrian, how was the session for you today?
Packed of there's a lot of information to get through, and just not enough time. But that's how she goes when you're doing like just like so many back to back epic sessions. But I was pretty pleased with the turnout. Got a few questions. Got some people in the booth. Hung out in the lounge. Good day.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
first of all, I want to thank you for supporting the event with Groundhog. And I saw your booth. You actually took it a step further with the message in the middle, and I loved it. Some kind of like additional cost to actions and stuff like this in there. Some great prizes. So, anyone that's watching, come and check out Adrian's booth at the exhibit hall for Groundhog. And you were talking about 5 simple CRM strategies you can use to create instant results for clients. So the replays are gonna go live in the morning for your session, Adrian. So what was it about? What can people learn from it if they haven't joined yet?
Yeah, so you're definitely going to want to check out the replay if you are an agency or a freelancer who typically provides web design, but not maybe like the full sort of digital marketing agency package. And what I mean by that, you're taking care of not only just like the website and the graphic design and all that stuff, but you're also doing a lot of the work for the customer journey. And you're thinking about, okay, well, someone comes to the website, how do they get there? Do they get there from an ad? And then what do they do when they get there? And then if they do make some sort of like purchase or conversion or sign up action, what happens after that? And if you're an agency that wants to, if that you're already offering that service or you want to start offering that service, it can be difficult to know what works really, really, really well. And then you can spend a lot of time doing a lot of trial and error and really just wasting a lot of time on stuff that doesn't work.
Right.
And obviously, trial and error is a piece of doing any sort of build for a client. Everybody's got a different niche, they got a different audience, they have different needs. But throughout my past experience working not only as an agency, but then going on to be a software company and then working with thousands of agencies and hence their many clients and thousands of businesses in 45 countries around the world, there are just, there's these five that I talk about in this presentation are basically just cornerstones of every single build that I see that shows up in like our telemetry dashboard that's absolutely killing it. Like if they have these, they're doing well, and if they don't, then they're further down the rankings. So I was able to get through 3 of the 5 in fairly significant detail. And I wasn't able to get in the last 2, but if you want to see like a full like epic video breakdown of all of those funnels in like an hour 45-minute just like epic one shooter, I did basically a very similar presentation on Friday, and the replay for that, if you want to see the full one, is available. If you just go to the booth, there's a link there. It says 5 essential funnels. You can click that. Or if you want to see the short condensed version, then definitely check out the replay of today's session when it goes out tomorrow.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, definitely a session that I saw that got a lot of traction in the chat as well. And Stephanie, how was the day for you?
I'm just winding down from it. Just my session is just wrapped. I just have one little, like, in the suggestion box, there's no bathroom breaks built into this host job. I just want everybody to know. I feel like I work for Amazon. Like, I had to pee in a cup during the thing. It's awkward.
I also
it's
ran
very hardcore.
Between the 2 sessions. It's true.
Very hardcore. And you run to the bathroom and you're like so terrified that somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, Steph, can you come back on and help me with something?" I'm like, "No." Anyway,
my bathroom is there. It's outside that door, and it's great. So
mine's close too, but I didn't want to run the risk.
Yeah,
so.
but I had to run down.
That's why I have my cup here.
Yeah,
nice.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but you've got a lovely little person that brings you glasses of wine and coffee when you shout at them, right? So I don't.
Adrian, that's just bad training, Andrew. You got to work on that. Adrian, I liked how your stuff. Like, I loved how the talks all like sort of wove together today. It came out. I mean, I'm sure you had something to do with it, Vito, but it came out even better than you probably could have expected. You know, Hans was talking about this earlier today. Oh man, I just got something in my eye. Sorry. About saying no. And then who else was talking about that later? Somebody else.
Well, straight away after Hans, we had discussions around Nev. Around secret to profitability, pricing, recurring revenue. And that was an interesting session. And I think that just happens that we have Nev here with us.
Nev's here too?
Oh my God.
I love this guy. Look at him.
Here.
Nev, what's up, pal?
Coffeeless. Here.
Nev wins the prize, everybody. Most stressful talk of the day.
What
maybe
happened?
Of the whole summit. Nev spilled coffee on himself 2 seconds before going live. Then his camera wouldn't turn on or something. I don't know. It was Andrew's fault or
3
something.
minutes before that.
And then he got on and his little clicker to change slides wouldn't work. This dude.
But I seem to remember, Nev, I think now you just need a VA to sort your life out, because you had slide problems at R3. And we've got to fix that for you. So
we talked about this already. He's speaking at WordCamp Europe, and I'm like, buddy, I will help you. I'm going to be your text. I'm going to do your slides for you. We got you, buddy.
It's because he has such this like great setup going for him.
I know.
All of us were just plebs down here at the
wins.
bottom of the totem pole with our webcams and,
I know.
and our lav mics, and he's got like this whole like studio, and
he's literally standing.
I know. Everybody was like, "Are you giving a TED talk?" That was like the comments kept saying, like, "This guy's giving a TED talk over here."
I should win the award for overcomplicating things so they don't work.
So good though. I love it.
When it does work.
What was the session about? Can you tell us a little bit about? Because we're gonna have the replay live within the summit replays section. As soon as tomorrow morning.
Do you want Nev to tell you what it was about, or do you want me to give you a recap?
Yeah, let's hear from Steph then.
Oh, for me, okay, good.
I want to see if you were paying attention, Steph.
Yeah. So basically,
our friendship is on the line.
No, I got this, buddy. Like, watch your cash flow. Don't spend money that you don't have. Pay your bills late, sort of, like arrange for a later due date. And also put things on credit cards, but kind of don't. Like, still don't, like, but still pay them off. Boom. Did I nail
That
it?
was a
Best
pretty
plan.
simplified way of doing it. It was slightly more complex than that, but it basically what it says is get your money in on the first, or get your money in first, and delay your payments to, or even move them, even if you have. And I do this, even if you have somebody come to you and say, right, due date for this is the 5th. It's your landlord, or you're paying rent, or your mortgage even. You go to your mortgage company and you go to your landlord and you say, I don't want to pay it on that date. I'll pay you on the 10th of the month. And that gives you 9 days, just in case you've got a little emergency, your boiler explodes or whatever it is. So it's great advice from Nev. Is we're all kind of yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir when we're dealing with institutions like banks and loan places and mortgage companies and landlords. So well, actually, it's better for me and it'll be better for you if I change this payment date. And you can do it with suppliers as well. And you just have a moratorium on payments. You can even do it if you've got a little bit of a cash flow problem. Say somebody's failed a payment, it's a big payment. You can write to all your creditors and say, look, I'm having a moratorium. And I'll give you a very big example of a company that did this. I'm having a moratorium on payments. I will restart them in 1 month's time on this date. And from then on, that date will do. And the biggest company in the UK, literally one of the biggest companies in the UK, British Telecom, when they existed, millions and billions of turnover, put a moratorium on paying all of their bills for 3 months. They didn't pay people for 3 months. So if big companies can do it and you've got a little bit of a cash flow issue, or you've suffered an illness as a freelancer, you literally write to your creditors and say, I'm having a moratorium.
I tried that once, and prison was not fun at all.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. People will accept it.
You have the shirt from there.
I am not
Surprising
made
how people will affect it.
lifestyle, Andrew.
Yeah, you were. I mean, you're too pale to go in prison. You know what I mean? It's no good.
It's
Yeah,
true.
that's a good sum up. Which have 5 days between when you get your recurring revenue in and when most of your bills are due, and then you could use all sorts of methods. I bring up credit cards and some very specific rules on how to use them, and they're not the finance stuff, but they give you a grace period to pay stuff off, and you don't use the grace period unless you have to, because it just buys you flexibility. And then a system to map out your cash flow for 90 days, so that you could see if any problems are going to be coming up. So then you know when to spend money, if you should spend money, and gives you less stress in your life because you're not worried about if you're going to have the cash there. Because we've all had that feeling where I'm doing really, really well, but I'm cash poor. This solves that. Right. But very good, guys. You guys can remain my friends. I'll talk to you at next R3.
Talking about money and payments.
Listen, it's in the mail. It's in the mail.
There he is.
Wow, what a surprise.
How you doing, David?
Hey, guys.
The Peach Pay guy is here.
So, you know what? To kind of to honor David for joining us today, 1 second. We're going to watch 10 seconds of what David does with Peach Pay. I'm feeling like at a 90s rave there, David. With the music. I love
that was hastily put together today, to be quite honest with you.
Well, I'm sure there's within the group the people that are watching, I'm sure that there's some videographers out there, people that create videos that you can connect with David over the next 4 days and say, right, I need this and I need it now.
Honestly, just send us a better version of that. It shouldn't be too hard, and you're in.
I would like to give another award out. I would like to give David a Peach Pay award for the sexiest logo, the juiciest logo of the summit.
Nice.
Boom.
Like that.
Got that peach.
It used to
Everybody
just be
out
like
here getting awards. Where's mine?
I'm working on it.
It's quite clever the way the leaves are added.
The logo literally just used to be the peach emoji, but then we figured we'd probably get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Given that Apple literally sued a company called Pear just because it's a fruit. right?
Which is crazy, yeah, crazy. But that's your American litigation system. It's just
we're very
crazy.
litigious.
Yeah,
We are.
just crazy.
Which
Anyway.
sounds like a more complimentary, fancy word than it really is. Has anybody ever told you you're very litigious?
I love that.
Why, thank you.
So what did we have today? We actually started the day with Andrew and I did a bit of a intro for
Twice.
the event just before. Yeah, we tried.
I missed it.
Well,
It was in the single digits, you guys. I don't do them.
Right? And I actually thought that it was an hour earlier than it was supposed to be. And fortunately, we had it recorded, so we brought it back on the right time. So everything,
nice.
crisis avoided straight away from the
Yeah.
get-go. And then we had Rafi from Accessibility talking about accessibility, and they showed us some really cool tricks with their little generator here that allows people to check their website for accessibility. And I'm gonna figure this one out while you guys are talking about this, because I want to pull this link on the screen. But Andrew, you watched that session already?
Yeah, I did. I watched it, and it's interesting. Accessibility, you know, the overlays get a little bit of flack from the disability people out there and everything, but I'm not sure about the I've got a blind lady that does my accessibility for me on websites. You know, she uses a machine thing, and it does like 10 times the speed of what I can't hear it. It's like a whistle to me, but she's sitting there and she's going, yeah, that's okay, that's not okay, that's bad. And these are my commercial websites that we do, and they're kind of accessible, but accessibility has got a mystery about it, and also a thought, you know, if I'm going to go to the WCGA or GAG standards or whatever, it's going to cost me more time as a developer. It's going to cost me more time, cost my clients more money.
WCAG.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, GAG. I knew you'd know that. But anyway, so you've got more money involved, and we've got to try and remain competitive. So we need to bring accessibility to the forefront to say, right, it's actually not that hard to make it accessible or as compliant as we possibly can. And again, because of the litigious nature of the United States of America, this is the fear is that you're going to get sued and sued and sued and sued. You know, and Accessibility was saying, you know, for developers, they're going to look at developers' websites that they've done. They're just going to go to their clients and say, you're not accessible, we're suing you. You know, we had that big thing about Domino's not being accessible and stuff like that. So we've got to bring that to the forefront, and we've got to find a fix. And the problem is that WordPress themselves, whenever you mention accessibility in a WordCamp, and Matt's there, he kind of just skims it away.
Really?
Yeah, really. Just there's never been a thing.
Matt who?
Mr. Mullenweg. Mr. Mullenweg, you know, he just kind of he swerves it a little bit because it's hard, right? So,
well, what they tried to do, or what they actually did with their product, is that it's going into the DOM of the website as soon as it identifies any accessibility related devices that are enabled to use the website. So it's not going to happen for everyone that is visiting the website, but if you have all kinds of assisting tools that you're using, then their widget or their script is going to identify this, and it's going to accessify the website in real time, so that you have all the alt tags, all of the ARIA tags, and all of those kind of things spread out throughout the entire website through machine learning and AI that are,
and also I don't know, I'm going to start having to look at it, but how does it handle the navigation? Because, you know, when you're using an accessible website, you have to tab, you know, you're basically tabbing. So, you know, it's a bit of an area that we all need re-educating on, really, and just making sure that we're there. And I think we've got a talk tomorrow with Anamika. I think she's going to be talking about accessibility and also talking about building an accessible website doesn't mean that it just has to be plain text, right? You can
Right.
still design nice websites and get it
So
done.
she's going to tackle this more from the manual point of view, and now we can do this during the build itself, which is
Sure.
extremely interesting and important. But what accessibility are trying to do is to automate it after the fact, so that if you're making any changes or your clients are adding any blog posts and they're not adding the right tags in place or anything like this, it's just going to be done automatically.
Yeah, and using AI, and just have a look at my name. It's got Bertha.ai, so I'm a total believer in AI, right? So
we're totally there. This is now
intelligence, and Weglot do the same thing. They use a bit of AI as well. So we're all got to move forward on the AI side, and I'm sure that Mr. Toby there will be using AI to generate funnels in not too short a time. I'm sure of it.
And straight after that, we had Hans from Termageddon that was telling us or teaching us how to say no to clients. So, David, did you used to work with as an agency or as a freelancer before you got into PitchPay?
No, I did not, but I've gotten to know many.
Right. So what do you think about this concept? How do you, and I guess that you might have these conversations as well within the product side as well. How do you say no to clients?
We don't ever say no to clients, really, unless, well, actually we do.
Wrong answer, David. Different talk.
No, David, no.
It's different when you're a product company.
It's different. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But even as a product company, we do have to say no when, people, so our thing is a checkout and payment product. And only a fraction of WordPress plugins affect WooCommerce. By the way, we're only focused on WooCommerce stores. So there's a few different e-commerce plugins on WordPress. WooCommerce is by far the biggest.
Right.
Only a fraction of WordPress plugins affect WooCommerce. Only a fraction of those plugins affect checkout and payments. But it's enough of a fraction to keep us very, very busy with integration work. There's WooCommerce Core to account for, but then there's this broader plugin ecosystem. And we're always getting requests about, please integrate with this plugin or that plugin, this discount thing, this shipping logistics thing, and so sometimes we do have to say no, but it's always a no with the caveat of, or with the assurance that ping us again in a month's time, or just that if we get this request again and a few more times, then we'll get back to you if we end up doing it.
And actually, Spencer was talking about that, about plugin developers being asked to. We get all the time. I've got 19 plugins out there plus Bertha, and we get. I mean, somebody actually said, "Can I just have your API? I just want to have your API." I went, "Not really, but or can you make it do this, or can you make it do that?" And sometimes you just have to say no, because the plugins that I've built, just like Adrian's built, Groundhog, it does what it does. And it's great at what it does. And as soon as you start integrating all of these requests, you're going to actually make your plugin conflict with what it originally wanted to do. And I've had experience of this as well. So you definitely do have to say no to support requests. And can you just make it do this? Why not?
In all honesty, too, when we're dealing with web projects and clients, not like you guys with the products and all of that, but when you're dealing with web projects, if you it's such a psychological thing, like that whole process, the sales process, even the project, all of it. There's so much psychology behind it. And there's a bit of who's in control here. And the client wants to be in control. So they're going to assert dominance. If you show a client one design, two designs, three, whatever it is, it doesn't matter how perfect it is, they're going to have something to say about it, 99% of the time, because they're asserting their dominance. They're a boss. They're in control, right? So we have to anticipate these things coming. And so they're going to say, like, well, what about this? They're going to challenge us. And if we just always say, okay, whatever you want, then we're just bending over, and they just continue to ram us and take advantage. And that was, I didn't mean that as dirty as it came out. Like that, they're just going to take advantage.
You never mean it as dirty as it turns out.
And they, like, if you just say to them, like, no, but no, Someone in my Facebook group, we were talking about our words of the year, and she wanted to have our good friend Suzanne Black. She's awesome. She wanted her new word of the year to be no. She's struggling with that, and I said, but she's stressed out about it. And I said, yeah, but maybe make your word no, but, because we don't want to just have a wall that they hit. So if you say no, you give them another option, or you give them an explanation. You give an out. You don't do a dead end. So you say, no, we can't do that, but no problem. We can put that in phase 2. Right. Or you say like, but you're still asserting that you are actually the one in control. You're not a jerk, and you're not just trying to like block their success, obviously, but you say like, no, but, or no, but how about this? Or no, here's another alternative. So like all of those kind of things all sort of play together into that chess game that we're playing.
Is it viable to say no, but we'll do it if like here's how long it would probably take us, like how many man hours, or there's a lot of women in the space too, woman hours, whatever. Here's how long it would take, and this is what we would bill you at if you want this, but not at the current
women
budget.
hours would be way less. I'm not actually
82% less to be exact.
Yeah.
I'm not actually.
But they might be 7 minutes late.
I think that's true. I think that's totally viable. I think that's the key. It's almost like not every time are they testing you when they ask for something out of scope or out of bounds, but there is a psychological element. Sometimes they are actively testing, and sometimes they're not, but then the reaction that they get if we just bend over is damaging to our relationship with them and like our level of control in it. So if you say that, like they say, you've already scoped out a project, and they're like, oh, and can I also add on like a whole like forum and social element to it? You're like, no, but we can do that. And like that would I mean, sometimes the way to say no is to say yes.
Yeah.
You kind of say like, sure, but it's going to be in the next phase. This is kind of another way to say no.
To quote at a higher price, which you get more money.
Yeah, you say like, not in this particular project, but yeah, sure thing. No, we can do that. So you could say no, but yes, right? So you could like totally work that. So the whole no thing is really a fascinating.
It all goes into the backlog. For our agency, that's how it worked. It just went into the backlog so that sure, we can do everything, just not right now.
So same with product people too.
Yeah,
I guess that's a commonality.
Back in my back when I used to do agency work, our way of handling saying no would if someone were to be like, hey, listen, we like all these things, but here's like our super long list of things that we'd like to change. Our response would be like, we can absolutely take care of each of these line items for you. It's going to take this amount of time, and it's going to cost you this much extra.
Yeah,
and 90% of the time, they just email me back. It looks like they either say no problem,
never mind, just kidding,
or they're like, actually, it's good the way it is.
Yeah, just kidding. I don't need that.
I guess that's a good way to separate like what is really valid, like feedback, and then what is just nitpicking, like for the point of nitpicking, right?
Right. So sometimes it is a lot about asserting the dominance, and it is like a game, a bit of a battle there, or a bit of a game that you have to make sure that you stay the alpha of that relationship throughout the process, because you have to lead it. You have to lead them. You have to lead.
If you don't, if you give up that control, it's a lot like small children. When I was younger, I used to do like these camps in the summer in these classes, and I would have so much fun because I'm just a big kid myself, and I'd be hanging out, and the parents would come to pick them up, and the kids would be like hanging from the light fixtures and like going wild. We had a blast, but it was not good. It wasn't managed. It wasn't under control, because you have to be strict and tight. Like for those of you who are parents, I know Vito is, I don't know the rest of you, but he doesn't have teenagers yet, so he's in for a shock. But when you control them, and you put boundaries, and you give them restrictions, and those boundaries basically is the word, then they flourish and they thrive. And it's a little bit the same with caring for clients. They're going to try and test those boundaries. They're going to push them, and they're going to try them. But you have to be the mom or dad. Like, you have to say, like, I understand, but that's not allowed right now. Like, you have to do that. And then it ends up like, they end up actually, you'll get higher reviews. They'll love you more if you
Right.
do that, even though it feels like they'll hate you because you're controlling the situation and you're making it a better experience for them.
So straight after Hans's session, which was incredible, and I was just gonna bring in this thing here, a screenshot.
Everything but the beard. Like I was like everything but that beard was incredible.
Yeah, that's true. But he was hiding it a little bit with that microphone.
A little. I thank God.
Yeah, you have to figure out what they need is if what they need is what you offer. And there's been a few slides that were pretty similar to this, full of incredible information. Just getting those lists and implementing them within the agency is extremely valuable. So come and check out
Screenshot slides. Yeah, for sure.
And
Hans always gives away so much.
Right,
He's so
yes.
generous with his knowledge and experience. He's such an amazing guy.
And his lifts to the airport, one has to say.
That's true. And straight after that, we had Maciek from Buddy.works, and that was teaching us about why WordPress agencies should use deployment automation, CI/CD, within their workflows.
I have
Super
something to say on
important.
this. I have something to say on this. I had to have a client meeting with I'm not going to mention them by name or anything, but they're a big client, and they wanted to know about CI/CD.
Oh,
and
awesome.
thank God I watched all of that thing, because I knew
awesome.
about it, right? I could talk sensibly about it, and it was just amazing, and the whole meeting went really well, and you know, we're going back for the RFP and more questions, which you know, we made it through first stage, which is great. But they're massive, this client. So it was amazing that I saw Maciek's and Palmowski, right? So my name is now Palmowski. I'm going to be
Andrew Palmowski.
It's a great name. So I was very grateful for that particular presentation. And you never know when some information that you're going to look at is going to come in use, and that's the benefit of this summit and other summits that are out there. It's amazing,
right? Because we're trying to create the content for the event, or to curate the content, because we have these amazing speakers that come and share their knowledge. But based on those things that we saw through growth journeys of multiple agencies, that these things apply in different stages. So even if it doesn't really work for you right now, so yesterday, Andrew, you would have never looked into CI/CD.
Not a chance.
Right?
Why? Because we use GitHub, and we kind of do deployment like that, and we do staging sites, and we merge them as well properly, you know, with the tools that we've got. But you know, the fact that the coincidence was unbelievable. I mean, that was their biggest thing about deploying the software solutions that I have by CI/CD. It was crazy. That was their biggest thing.
That's brilliant. And then straight after that, we jumped into Nevstock. So we kind of touched that topic a little bit with the secrets to profitability, pricing, recurring revenue. And so how much should I price my recurring revenue, Nev?
$1 million.
Okay.
So,
I'll take it.
yeah, no, I always say just add more, because it's gonna be time, and there's risk that people won't pay you in time, that you're gonna and they're gonna have your money over time. So you should get like a somewhat of an interest payment and somewhat of a risk payment for people that aren't gonna pay you. So that's the 30-second explanation of pricing recurring revenue. You just can't divide it by 12 what you're gonna get today, because you need compensated for letting them pay you over time.
You make your own insurance policy.
That's interesting.
Bingo.
And after that, we had Spencer Foreman from WP Launchify, Launch Flows, and Capsule Consulting, that was talking about the future of WordPress for enterprise. And this was a pretty interesting topic. And I know that Spence feels pretty strongly about the way that WordPress is going or getting into the enterprise world.
First of all, Spence feels strongly about everything.
That's true.
Me and Spence hang out on Fridays on WP
But
Tonic.
the thing is, he had some good points. You know, we've got to.
He's so smart, though.
I remember when plugin developers, just because of the way the WordPress ecosystem works, They just launched a plugin. They put it onto .org. There was 3 paragraphs of what it did. There were some screenshots, and that was it. You're on your own, buddy. You know, and if it breaks, well, go back to WordPress.org and get peer-to-peer support. There's no support. Now there's commercialization, and people are realizing that WordPress can actually be scaled for enterprise. The plugin developers that are aiming for the 7 figures or for the big launches or for the big clients, they need to have documentation. They need to have SLAs. They need to have a workflow that people will understand, you know, from documentation. Like I was saying to Spence, you know, we've redone all our documentation. I know, because I know Atarim intimately, the documentation for the documentation is amazing. I mean, it's just, it's a book, for God's sake. You know, it'll take you forever to read it, but it's because new developers come on board and everything like that. So you've got a whole raft of things, and David knows that, you know, from writing or producing something like PeachPay, you've actually got some lawful things that you have to think about, you know, payment processing and all that kind of stuff, and where the data goes, and you've got to have a pathway to that, so just in case you get investigated or whatever. So, you know, Spence's talk is very important for the future of WordPress, I think, and for the future of people that are working in WordPress, to really get that enterprise mindset together.
That's the point, getting that mindset in place, because
Sure.
I don't necessarily agree that this is the future. I think that it's already happening right now. And well, we're serving quite a few enterprises.
Sure.
There's been massive some of the top 10 companies in the world have been using Atarim to deliver their website in WordPress. And so there's not much future about it. It's literally happening.
Yeah, but you might, but no, I disagree with that. I think that's where we are. You are there, and I'm not being sycophantic, because I do know, you know, I've looked at the documentation of how you built Atarim and why you build it and whatever, and the QC list of things. There's hundreds of lines of QC, right? So you're there already, or thereabouts. You still, you know, we can all improve. But most WordPress plugin developers aren't there, Vito. You know, so we need to remind the professionals.
You guys know that Alan Kay quote, right? The future's already here, but unevenly distributed.
Exactly. Yeah. Good point. Well made there, David. Brilliant.
That's awesome. So, David, how do you feel about this? I think that when it comes to specifically commerce inside WordPress, this is still something that maybe in my mind is considered like the future, but not the present. But maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe there's already massive shops that are running on WooCommerce.
There are some. There's like Nalgene, you know, the water bottle company. There's some other big names, but honestly, not as many as I would like to see. You know, you go to a big brand store and a surprising amount are on Shopify. And I've actually seen a lot of decently sized brands switch from WooCommerce to Shopify, and sometimes they come back. They just kind of go in this like circular motion from WooCommerce to Shopify back. But honestly, I would like to see a lot more. And toward that end, I've been talking to Bob Dunn at Do the Woo about doing a segment. We're going to be launching it soon, actually, next month, about something like who's on Woo, and showcasing the enterprise level WooCommerce stores that are leveraging WooCommerce, and like big brands doing a lot of GMV, gross merchandise volume. And, you know, basically the idea behind it would be, first off, to inspire developers to go after these stores. Like, look at these stores that are using WooCommerce. It is possible to use WooCommerce for these big stores. In fact, it's kind of been a talking point for a long time that stores outgrow Shopify. And even if the evidence suggests kind of the opposite, that there are stores outgrowing WooCommerce to go to Shopify, I think it's also a matter of just like marketing. Like, Shopify has a very strong sales team, and WooCommerce is now building out their sales team and kind of playing catch up. Shopify has like 3 times the employees of WordPress in general, and the WooCommerce division is only like a couple hundred people. It's ridiculous compared to Shopify, right? So it's very impressive what WooCommerce has been able to achieve with like a fraction of the resources, fraction of the team, and the plugin ecosystem, which isn't under WooCommerce, right? Which is open source and which is powered by so many amazing builders, enables all sorts of applications on WooCommerce. And so, just kind of promoting the narrative that it is possible to bring these brands to Woo and keep them on Woo. And then also giving some heuristics, right? Some hacks, some actionable takeaways from each segment or from each episode of this segment. Like, here's how this developer got in touch with this retailer and said, here's why you need to be on WooCommerce, and here's why I'm equipped to bring you on WooCommerce. And so just, both just kind of like spreading this narrative, and then also some practical stuff around how do you actually put these deals together.
I love that. I'm looking. Yes, please go on.
Oh, I was just from a financial perspective, from a profit perspective, from a business perspective. I don't want somebody else controlling the platform my business is based on.
Right.
WooCommerce is never going to be controlled by some company that all of a sudden decides to double my rates.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, and especially as well as we're getting into this into who owns the data and what happens if the product shifts. So all of these kind of solutions or challenges are solved with an open source solution, really. And so straight after that, and because I'm conscious of our time here, we're jumping into, we went straight to Shannon, talking about principles of navigating the sale. And she was she's the managing director of Win Without Pitching. And Stephanie, I think that you read the book, right?
Oh yeah, it's so. Have you guys read Win Without Pitching? The Win Without Pitching manifesto.
The
It
manifesto
is so
I did
good.
read. Yeah.
Yeah, I do audiobooks all the time, and I remember I read that on a road trip, and I read the whole book. It's not a very long book, but I just read the whole thing straight through, and my brain was like it was just so good. Because of course, you can tell just from this conversation, like I love the whole sales process and the sales theory and all of that kind of stuff. And so the way that they sort of change it, and they talk about getting ahead of your. I have notes. I took notes, you guys, on my low tech. Yeah, she talked about like she said, objections are your friend early, but your enemy late. So and we all know what our objections are going to be. Basically, we know most of them already, right? They're going to be price, they're going to be features, they're going to be scope, they're going to be like the accountability, whatever. We know them, and so if you just get out ahead of them, then then they're your friend because you're beating them at their own game. And the other thing she said was, she told me to stop talking.
That's impossible.
That was. I mean, if everybody's told me that, but
I was thinking of a way of saying it, and then impossible was the word that described it best.
Yeah, no, but she talked about she didn't tell me specifically, but she talked about the power of saying what you have to say and then letting there be silence. And the power of that in the sales call. Oh, yeah. It's so good. And it is
with silence.
So hard for me.
Yeah, it's so powerful. It's so powerful to just literally shutting up. And I had when I learned this sales principle back in the agency days, and I started implementing this into the sales calls. It was painful, really. It is painful. But I had a conversation with this guy that we were literally, both of us were silent for almost 4 minutes straight on the session. Nothing, nothing. And then eventually he was like, are you here? I told him, yes, I'm here.
There you
go. Right now, and that was about 4 seconds.
Yeah, that was just a few seconds, and we can't stay straight. We all start laughing straight away, and it was extremely hard. But his next word was, "Okay, let's do it."
There you go.
That's it. It's just magical.
He respected your sales technique because he was using the same one. The other one is parroting as well, you know, in sales, because I've been in sales for 40 years. You kind of, David's nodding not knowledgeably. And Adrian actually uses a similar to take, you know, through your funnels and how you're teaching people how to do funnels. And I've heard you speak many times. You actually you do a lot of repetition, which isn't a criticism. It's a sales technique, right?
Repetition,
so when you repeat, you kind of just reaffirm everything, okay? And that's what you do. And so when you parrot to someone back or repeat their words back to them, you're reaffirming to them that they're right.
Well, if you listen to a radio ad, there's a reason that they say the phone number that you have to call 5 times in that 15 seconds.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Actually, Matt Medeiros in podcasting, his little things, and I've done it for. I did a couple of voiceovers for another podcast, and I actually said the domain name at the end, .com, .com, and Matt uses that technique, and I just thought, right, I'm stealing that because it works, because people remember it. And you just say it in slightly different way on the last way, and it's just sales techniques that we use.
The thing I like, and it goes for sales, and it also goes for public speaking, which I really love. And it is, you tell them what you're gonna tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them.
Yes, and I don't know if you noticed, but I did this loads on my session today, Stephanie. I was talking about the.
I wasn't listening.
You weren't listening. Yeah. What happened to the legal pad?
No, I had tons of notes.
He was out the door by that time. But
there's the veto section right here.
Right. So yeah, this is extremely powerful to talk about this, and I would definitely recommend to anyone that is doing sales, anyone that is talking to clients, to check out Pitch Without or Win Without Pitching.
Pitch without winning is a much less successful method.
No, I actually wanted to say pitch without selling, which is even worse.
Also terrible. Yeah. Stick to win without pitching.
Win without pitching. And then straight after that, or I'm actually gonna jump directly into Noah here to stay on the sales cycle. Noah was from Thrive Design, and is the founder of Agency X-Ray. And he was giving us a crash course on getting your sales process dialed in. And I jumped in just for a few minutes, and it blew my mind with he was sharing everything.
So Noah is like he's got a special mind, that guy. He really he's a data nerd. Nev and him, besties, right? They get along good. They both like the numbers. And
he's like 2 feet taller than me.
He is. Somebody in the chat was saying, was it Disha saying that you guys look alike? And I was like,
yeah, I was like,
person.
only if you knew.
Yeah, not in person they don't. Maybe on screen, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so he has this whole system that it's almost like it is so second nature for his brain, he almost can't even convey it to other mere mortals, but he's built this course. It's he does it all in Airtable, but the concept is that it's platform agnostic. It doesn't need you can do it anywhere, and there's just a handful, really not that many things that you need to keep track of all in one place, and then you can just learn so much about. It's like the X-ray of your business, right? It gives you so much insight into what's happening and lets you make better decisions. And I don't know, we all know we need analytics and we need data and all this stuff. And the right brainers, the creatives, the entrepreneur sides of all of us, we hate it. It's hard. We hate it. Yeah. But he breaks it down, and his little but his giveaway, his slide thing, whatever it was, if you go to the URL, it's he gives away like a template for it. So you just pop it into Airtable, and it's just there.
Yeah,
he does that a lot. And I think what business owners, what we think, and Melissa's talk later.
Yeah, let's introduce Melissa's talk with this thing. Melissa was talking about how to build an unsleazy sales funnel for real humans to enjoy.
Yeah.
But I was talking about her
Adrian had sleazy funnels, and then Melissa went to unsleazy.
Yeah, but the point is when what I'm trying to say is that when Melissa was talking about why her business
But Andrew,
failed.
wait, we're also talking in the middle of what you're trying to say.
No, I understand that, but it's basically Melissa's business failed because she didn't have a plan. If you have a plan and you see, you can be transparent about what your cash flow is, like Nev was talking about, and about how much money your business is going to make. You can actually do that in theory before you start a business, and that's why Noah and Nev's advice is so valuable, because
it is, and all the topics really weaved to get. They went well together today. We had 2 talks that talked about funnels. We had 2 talks that talked about your numbers, all different aspects of these things, though. And the sales process, we had 2 talks on that. Like all this stuff really came together. And
it was Hans talking about the saying no, while I was talking from the content delivery on how we should actually say yes, but in a more taking responsibility type of way.
And I really loved from your talk. I said it on the show, but I really loved how you emphasized to make sure, and again, with the psychology of all of this, make sure you give them something before you ask them for something else. You've already asked them for money. Now you've got to give them something after their deposit. You've got to give them a deliverable before you ask them to provide copy or feedback or whatever else it is, just to keep it being an interchange rather than them feeling like it's just a take from us.
Yes. And I think Nev's going to like this analogy. I like to compare this to a bank, where you have to make some deposits if you want to make any withdrawals. So they make their deposit first because they're giving you literally money for the deposit, and then this next thing is that you're asking them to make another. We usually ask them to make another deposit in the form of getting me the content, or basically, if we're looking at this from our side, we're making a withdrawal, taking the deposit from the client initially when the project starts, and then we're asking for another withdrawal in the form of work, instead of trying to think about how can we balance the relationship early on and just make it a give and take, something that everyone can win and everyone feels that they're winning without pitching, right? It all comes together.
Totally. Vito.
Helping is a way better sales tool than selling.
Yeah.
It's 1 in the morning there.
It's 1 in the morning. It is 1 a.m. Right here.
It's 8
so
here.
We're going to wrap up for today. But before we do that, I want to let everyone know that this was just day 1. There's 3 more days with 9 sessions every single day. Tomorrow, we're going to start the day with Chris from GoDaddy's. He's going to talk about GoDaddy's managed WordPress journey, what they learned and how and where they're going from here, trying to understand the mindset of one of the largest companies in the world, specifically one of the largest companies in our space. And then we have Raitis from Visual Composer talking about the rise of no-code web creation, why businesses choose new type of agencies that deal with that. Back when we started, it was all about create custom themes, and now it's all about the tools, the no-code, low-code tools that we're using. Straight after that, we have Tom from Convesio. Is going to talk about the Shark Tank effect, how to prepare your client sites for a high-traffic event. And sorry?
I love me some Shark Tank.
Me too. I love it. And then we have
that's a smart guy.
Yeah, who is?
Tom from Convesio.
Yes.
Tom Finelli, sharp guy.
Definitely.
Vito, I'm sharing so you can.
Oh, perfect. Yes. So then after that, we have Benjamin is going to talk about, is Gutenberg finally maybe ready to be used on client websites?
This is a controversial one. This is going to get heated. I have a feeling.
I'm really interested to see if it is fully ready yet. And then we have Sam and Karen from Making Website Magic, and they run a really awesome agency, and they're going to be talking about how to successfully raise your prices by creating a magical client experience, which I'm always for. I think that putting the clients first is always a good idea. Straight after that, we have Bethany talking about from 10up. So 10up.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg for a second.
the picture, right? So Bethany from 10up. 10up is easily one of the top 3 agencies in the WordPress space, and they're actually they're actually working with Google, providing them with all of their WordPress needs. And so Bethany is going to talk to us about providing excellent support on the WordPress.org forums. And after this, we have Roberta. She's going to talk
Roberta's about to put the ass in assess.
Yes. What? I'm in the
You can
flow.
always rely on
Are
Steph.
you allowed to say that?
I'm not.
Get your
What are
mind
you gonna
out
do
of
about
the
it?
Right.
What is going on?
Asses.
Asses.
Yeah.
It's 1 a.m.,
Asses.
right? Asses
Uh-huh.
design and implement. That's what it's about.
It's prime time. You're allowed to say ass. It's right after 8.
Yeah.
Did she borrow the
We're good.
peach logo?
Yeah.
Did she
Yeah.
borrow the peach logo, David?
Assess, design, implement.
we're not
How
very
websites
litigious.
Reflect brand. So this is going to be an
Shame.
interesting one. And straight after this, we have Amber from creative director. I don't see from where, right? Fighting the hashtag working mom. And this is going to be a pretty interesting conversation for juggling kids and family along with work. I need to start thinking about this thing, not only with a growing small daughter and another one on the way. And then straight after that, we have Erin from Mint CRO. She's going to talk about growing like the big dogs. Amazon, Netflix, Facebook discover the engineering approach to marketing used by the top 1% of growth companies in the world. So
I think it's mostly about building rockets to Mars, is what I think is going to
that's what it's
be
going to be about, right?
the answer.
And I actually invited Erin to speak at the summit after I've been using her products internally with Adarim to help us systemize our marketing and ad funnels and all this kind of stuff. So I'm really excited that she's going to share some information. And then we have Lax. That's it. Then Lax is on the day after.
Oh, that's
What
a day.
What a day. And of course, if you want to get all of these sessions, you can click this button right here and you can get lifetime access to all of the sessions and consume them at your own convenience right after the summit or in 5 years from now. And thank you, everyone that's been with us on this roundup today. Thanks to everyone that joined us on the presentation that stayed. We still have quite a few folks that are watching us here inside the Summit platform, and anyone that is watching this particular session outside, because this one was broadcast outside as well, make sure that you join us tomorrow at adarim.io/summit, adarim.io/summit.
Oh wow!
Well, that's the
Look
link
at that!
to sign
That's how
up,
you do it?
Vito.
Yeah.
Vito, that's the link to sign up, though. If you want to watch,
Yes.
you got to go to summit.adarim.io. That's
Well, you got to be
Summit.
registered first.
You gotta be
but
registered
I'll
first, though.
think as well. So if you are registered and you want to watch, please go to summit.adarim.io/main.
You don't have to type all that in. If you just go there, you can
sessions.
click on
Summit.adarim.io. Right?
Yeah. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's it. I ruined it.
Who's this guy? Come on. Hey, this was super fun, everybody. See you
Good
tomorrow.
night. See you tomorrow.
So what if you want to go to the networking lounge? Could I get a URL for that on the
Yes.
screen?
Oh, right. Networking lounge.
No. Oh, come on. You just click the button. There's buttons.
Click the buttons
Vito,
everywhere.
behave yourself.
Just in case.
You can spin the wheels in the exhibit hall. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Look at him go.
Summit.adarim.
I think I'm going to mute him.
See you later.
See you guys tomorrow. Make
Good
sure you
everybody.
visit the lounge, exhibit hall, and enjoy the sessions. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.